Network.
Live from the Buffalo Wild Wings studios, it's time to get locked into the best Sooner recruiting and football news with Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up.
Hit the guys up on the Riverwind Casino call-in line at 405-329-9000 or text the show on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line at 405-651-3439.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
Oh yeah, let's get it rolling here on Tuesday. Parker Thune, Grayson Singleton here in the Buffalo Wild Wings studios, as we are every weekday at 2 o'clock p.m. local time. For Locked In, talking OU football and recruiting with all of you on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line at 405-651-3439 if you would like to chime in. This program brought to you today and every day by the great folks at Dorsey Jones Buick GMC out in El Reno. Exceptional service, exceptional staff, exceptional prices as well, and you can take advantage of some of their regular deals such as half-price oil changes on Saturdays to make that trek out to El Reno more than worth it. Shout out to Dorsey Jones Buick GMC. And Grayson, as we get started today, I want to bring up our poll question on YouTube. There are many of you that tune in every single day via YouTube. Obviously, there's a multiplicity of ways to listen to us here on the Ref. You can listen via your traditional radio dial. You can tune in via the KREF app, as many of you do. Or you can now check us out live on YouTube every day between 2 and 3 p.m. The very first message in the YouTube chat is from Corrections 101, who says, Grayson is having an elite hair day. Congratulations.
Just wait till I get this fade on Thursday is my hair appointment? Yeah.
Oh, man. So Friday, we're going to be looking at like a legit elite hair day.
You know it.
You think this is A++. Corrections 101.
I wasn't going to be going out for Valentine's Day with looking crusty.
Oh yeah, what you got planned?
I got a spot.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna go get some dinner and then we'll see after that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I got you. It's good to make those plans ahead of time.
We did, and look, and I made them about 2 weeks in advance too, and I still don't think I made them soon enough.
Yeah, Valentine's Day takes some planning, takes some coordination, takes some foresight, because trust me, you try to go out on Valentine's Day and you do not have something planned, you don't have something reserved, it can be very, very difficult.
Oh, yeah.
Our poll question today in the YouTube chat on the KREF Sports YouTube channel is, what position does OU need to recruit best in the 2026 cycle? Your options are wide receiver, defensive line, linebacker, which is what most of you have voted for thus far, or there is a select your own option as well, where you can write in the answer that you believe is correct. Now, obviously want to talk about those three groups that we highlighted throughout the show, Grayson, wide receiver, D-line, linebacker, because they are three position groups where there's going to need to be an emphasis for Oklahoma in the 2026 recruiting cycle. But want to start out by bringing up a name that we've talked quite a bit about the last few weeks, and understandably so. That of four-star quarterback Bo Bentley from Salina, Texas. For those of you unfamiliar with the backstory here, Oklahoma's got a quarterback committed in the 2026 class. Jaden O'Neal from Harbor City, California. Top 100 player in the nation. He's been committed to Oklahoma since last summer. But they're willing to take a second. And the guy that they have a red eye on as their second quarterback in the class is Salina, Texas native Bo Bentley, a lifelong Sooner fan, recently earned a spot in the Rivals 250. He's currently the number 207 overall player in the nation, state champion in 2024 at Salina High. Very, very gifted passer that on tape has a lot of similarities to Jackson Arnold, which some people are going to hate to hear, but that is what it is. There are parallels to be drawn there. Per my good friend Sam Spiegelman, national recruiting analyst at Rivals.com, Bo Bentley has 4 spring visits set up. Bentley was on campus with Oklahoma just a little over a week and a half ago. It was a week and a half ago, Saturday, February 1st. He took his very first campus visit to OU as a prospect. Lifelong OU fan. Comes from a diehard Sooner family. But he's being quite intentional with the recruiting process. And as such, Grayson, he's going to take visits to Missouri, LSU, and Florida State. Level of concern that any or all of those three schools could mount a challenge to Oklahoma.
Well, I'll tell you what, given the way that LSU has developed and turned around the career of Garrett Nussmeier, that might be something to keep an eye on too. And, I mean, ever since Joe Burrow, LSU has taken on a different standing in the mind's eye of college football. It's gone from being a place where you had flashy wide receivers but mediocre quarterback play and you relied on the smash-mouth downhill run game to a place where they throw the ball all around a yard, a la what we thought of Oklahoma up until a few years ago. So LSU would be of concern. Missouri, okay, cool, it's there. They might offer him a chance to start day one, especially because we don't really know what they're going to look like at quarterback post Brady Cook. And Florida State's always going to be Florida State, whether it's a functioning program or a tire fire like it is right now. So, level of concern, it's there. LSU is the one I'm looking at the most, where I could say not only do they got deep pockets there and could offer him a boatload of money, and you say, hey, you're going to follow Garrett Nussmeier, who followed Joe Burrow. That could be a selling point. Missouri, not so much. So I'd go LSU, Florida State, Missouri in terms of concern, with LSU being the only one I'm really concerned about.
And I would agree with you that LSU is the program that presents cause for the most concern because there's powerhouse potential there. And they're consistent, if nothing else. They're consistently an upper-tier team in the SEC. They're not always elite. They're not always a freight train like they were in 2019 with Joe Burrow. But they're consistently a competitive program in the SEC. And there is quite a track record of quarterback success, especially in recent years with Burrow and Jaden Daniels both winning Heisman trophies within the span of 5 years.
Yeah,
so,
I forgot that guy.
Yeah, LSU, they're going to be a player, I would think. And as long as that visit goes according to plan, I would imagine he OVs there. And what's been emphasized to me in talking to folks close to the Bo Bentley recruitment is that he's going to continue to be intentional with the process. Yes, he would love to wear the crimson and cream. Yes, he's very flattered that he has received the offer to do so. But his fandom is not going to take precedence over the correct business decision. And so I think Missouri is a school that, like, even if you don't consider them as prestigious as a school like LSU, especially for quarterbacks, that's a program that you're always going to have to acknowledge as a threat because of the money component. True. And they've shown that they can shell it out. They've also shown that they like to stick it to OU sometimes. And so if it comes down to Mizzou and OU for Bo Bentley, now keep in mind, what's complicating, well, not necessarily complicating all this, but what could kind of exacerbate that whole dynamic is that, I don't know how well this is known or not, John Mateer has a ton of family ties to the University of Missouri.
Does he really?
Yes. I believe his dad went there. I believe his sister just graduated from Mizzou. So there were a ton of ties for Mateer at Missouri, and yet he wound up at Oklahoma. And Missouri's quarterback next year is going to be the guy that was riding the bench at Penn State this past year, backing up Drew Aller.
Yeah, Bo Pribula.
Correct. So they're in a situation where they probably would like to stick it to OU. And I mean, you've heard the comments that Eli Drinkwitz has made, and if you've just kind of read between the lines, there's a lot of dissension. There's a healthy rivalry right now. And I don't even know that I would call it healthy. It might be kind of a bit more of a bitter rivalry between that OU staff and that Missouri staff in particular.
Which is nuts.
I mean, Eli Drinkwitz beats Oklahoma, and the first thing he does when he gets to the podium for his post-game press conference is call out Bob Stoops for saying that Missouri was a program OU used to beat the daylights out of on a perennial basis, which was factual. That's true. But, man, I wonder if Missouri, with the knowledge that Bo Bentley is a lifelong OU fan, and a guy that has grown up with an affinity for the Sooners. Wonder if they really, really want to stick it to OU by taking one of the top quarterbacks from the Lone Star State and just putting too much money in front of him for him to confidently and comfortably refuse the offer.
Well, here's the thing that can blow that whole thing up and could backfire with both Oklahoma and Missouri. Ohio State's still in play here. And that to me is the chief concern, is how are you going to – I know he's from Texas, so do you want to go all the way up to Ohio and do that? Okay, fine. Are either Oklahoma or Missouri outbidding the Buckeyes if they really, really want this guy?
Probably not.
Exactly.
Probably not.
So it's like this is going to be more than just a regional game. This is going to be more than Oklahoma and Missouri and LSU. This is going to you've got the defending national champions here. And the last thing I'll say about the other thing I want to say about this too is the direction your program is going matters a lot. Right now, if you had to pick, I would pick LSU to finish top 2 in the SEC next year. I would. What are you laughing for?
I'm laughing because I'm reading back through this story that Sam Spiegelman put out on Bo Bentley, and he referred to OU's first-year offensive coordinator as John Arbuckle. I guess our boy was reading Garfield this morning.
Where the hell did he get that from? Is that a character from Garfield?
Yeah, Garfield's owner is John Arbuckle.
Is it really?
Yes.
I never saw the Garfield movies.
Have you read the Garfield comics?
No.
Like, the movies are spun off from the comics. The comic strip is the OG.
Yeah, I've never read the comics either.
Okay. Yes, anyway. Garfield's owner is a fellow by the name of John Arbuckle. Oh, boy. We're going to have to get that corrected.
Yeah. Spence in Tulsa on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line, 405-651-3439. I don't see any reason for concern if you keep O'Neal locked in. And I mean, fair. I mean, neither of us think that both of them are going to sign with Oklahoma, regardless of if Oklahoma gets a commitment from Bo Bentley. So, I mean, theoretically, yes, you are fine. As long as you keep O'Neal in the class.
And I think O'Neal's going to stay in the class. I think it just comes down to, how do you want to be building this quarterback room? And from where Oklahoma stands right now, and I think with Venables and Ben Arbuckle's collective philosophy, you wouldn't like to have to continue to go back to the transfer portal for quarterbacks because, let's be honest, Grayson, the way that Oklahoma drew it up, they weren't going and landing John Mateer in the portal this past offseason. The way they drew it up, Jackson Arnold was your starter for 2 years, and he was handing off to Michael Hawkins, who in turn was handing off to Jaden O'Neal. Needless to say, that's not how this all unfolded.
Mm-mm.
So obviously you don't want to make it a practice of firing your coordinator mid-season and basically having to retool your entire offense the following offseason. That's not a regular habit you want to find yourself in. But as you look to the future, Oklahoma, with where they're at as a program, and I think this has kind of always been the vision for Venables and his staff, is we want to be able to use the transfer portal, or I should say we want to use the transfer portal as little as possible. We'll be able to use it if we need to, but you don't want to necessarily have to go and take 12, 15 guys in the portal every single offseason.
And especially if you can keep that stability at quarterback, too. At quarterback and your defensive leader, so where you don't have new importing guys learning a new scheme every year. That would help ease that transition in the case that you do have to take 10, 12 guys that might be impact players from the portal.
If Oklahoma could take 2 quarterbacks in the 2026 cycle, that would be ideal. But, as I have said before and will say again, I think the vision is to just let it ride if Bo Bentley doesn't want to come. If you can't get Bo Bentley, probably standing pat, because I think what Oklahoma found via the Brendan Zurbrugg experiment is that it's going to be quite difficult to keep a guy on campus for 3-4 years a developmental project when he doesn't have an immediate path to playing time and he's just going to have to be a long-term back. Like, nobody wants to do that in this day and age. Brendan Zerbrug thought he wanted to do that and then realized, you know what? Maybe this isn't the way to go. And so to fill out the back end of your quarterback depth chart, you're going to have guys that either understand what they are as football players and accept that and would rather be at OU in what amounts to a support role, holding a clipboard, than playing at, like, I don't know, the farm team, Kennesaw State, and competing for a starting role. Or you're just going to have to find guys in the portal that need somewhere. Like Cole Gonzalez is a perfect example. Kid that Oklahoma went and grabbed out of the portal to back up John Mateer and Michael Hawkins, to basically serve as Oklahoma's third-string guy.
Casey
in
Thompson.
2025. Casey Thompson, another great example. A guy that wanted to come home, a guy that understood, okay, it's probably the end of the line for me as a player, but this will give me a jump start on my coaching journey, especially just getting the chance to build connections back here in my home state. So it'll probably be a guy like that you're looking for in the portal every single year. Ideally, if you're able to build this quarterback room up the way that you want to. But the benefit of bringing in two in the 2026 class is that they're going to compete with one another. You'll get the chance to find out if either of them are worth their salt, worth the roster spot, and are also willing to stick it out and compete and fight tooth and nail for their spot on the field, or if one of those guys just doesn't belong and they were overhyped and don't live up to expectations at the collegiate level that they brought in as a recruit. And so at that point, you can afford to let that guy go because you have another guy that's a stud. So for OU, not a bad course of action to take two. If you can get two, again, if they can't get Bo Bentley, though, I would think they just take Jaden O'Neal and call it a wrap.
Especially because you have Jet New in tow, too.
And there are those right now that believe that kid's going to amount to something. They think he's going to be all right.
Yeah.
They like the arm talent. He's not like a dynamic dual threat type of guy, but then again, neither is Jaden O'Neal, right?
Yeah, that's
and
true.
So
yeah.
as long as you can make all the throws, that's always what's going to matter most in the collegiate game at the quarterback position.
Yeah.
What's going to matter most is that you can push the ball down the field, throw with accuracy to all three levels, layer your passes. It's about the arm more so than the legs, and it always will be for quarterbacks. Mobility is a nice bonus, but you got to be able to make all the throws on the route tree. All right, folks, we're just getting started here on Locked In. It is a Tuesday. You are listening to the Ref Sports Radio Network. Oklahoma Sooner fans, keep chiming in on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line, 405-651-3439. We'll keep talking OU football and Crootin on the other side. Keep it right here.
Hey, Ref Army, this is Dusty Dvorak. I'm fired up to be back on the K-Ref team. Join me every Tuesday and Wednesday morning during the 10 a.m. hour as I join Plank and Josh to talk some football. Download the K-Ref app and listen from anywhere.
Tired of your current living situation? Now is the best time to make a move. Interest rates are dropping and Home Creations is offering the best financing around with rates as low as 3.625%. This will save you hundreds per month on your brand new Home Creations home. Live like a champion today by calling Holly at 405-364-9999 for full details.
364-9999 Home Creations.
APR 6.508%.
The Ref is the home of Sooner fans and is once again your home for chaos. Every game-changing hit.
Long fly ball to left. Track. Whoa. Gone.
Every strikeout.
Got him. Swinging.
Every defensive gem.
He caught it. He caught it.
Every game. All year. The Ref has you covered.
Catch opening weekend of Sooner baseball against the Lehigh Mountain Hawks Friday at 4, Saturday at 2, and Sunday morning at 11 a.m. right here on the Ref and the K-Ref app.
Imagine one step, and suddenly a fall turns into a fracture.
For many, osteoporosis is a hidden threat, weakening bones silently until it's too late. At the Ortho Central Bone Health Clinic, we believe in personalized care to keep bones strong and resilient. Led by advanced practitioner Amanda Boyd, our team specializes in detection and personalized treatment plans, from bone density testing to strengthening bones after a fracture. Take charge of your bone health today. Call Ortho Central's Bone Health Clinic and let's build better bones together.
Ready for some pickleball fun? Join us at the Y-Fac for pickleball every Tuesday from 8 to 11 a.m. and Friday from 5 to 8 p.m. Grab your friends and hit the courts for a lively morning or evening game. If water fitness is your pleasure, Aqua Zuma classes are every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. Go online at yfac.com to learn more about day passes and memberships.
Now that open enrollment for healthcare coverage has ended, there's still several options to consider that just might benefit you. Need to purchase your own health insurance? Confused about Medicare? Considering offering benefits to your employees? Call the agents at Allison Insurance, featuring 70-plus years of combined insurance business experience. They're able to help clients avoid mistakes when purchasing individual or group health insurance. Call Allison Insurance at 800-580-5587 or 745-2968. They are the experts.
How do you give hope to a child in the foster care system? It starts with your heart. That tug you feel on yours when you hear that children are waiting for a stable, loving voice to speak up for their best interests. And then it becomes your time. What started out as a feeling that maybe you could make a difference becomes the difference. Change a child's story. There is a child waiting for a volunteer like you.
Contact South Central CASA at 405-360-5295.
Hey, Sooner fans. It's Jonathan Jackson here. Yeah, the same JJ who used to wreak havoc on offenses every Saturday. Now, I'm fighting in a different arena, the courtroom. If you've been hurt in an accident, I'll sack those insurance companies and make sure you get the justice you deserve. Remember, it's simple. Get help, get justice, get JJ Law. Call me at 855-GET-JJ-LAW. That's 855-GET-JJ Law. On the field or in the courtroom, I've always got your back.
Are you looking for a luxury apartment for rent in Norman? The Falls at Brookhaven offers stunning 2- and 3-bedroom spacious floor plans with large walk-in closets, washer and dryer hookup, and a fabulous kitchen in a well-maintained, calm environment. From plush carpet to sleek stainless steel appliances to a pool, 24-hour fitness, and 2 dog parks, the Falls at Brookhaven has it all. Call our locally owned and operated community at 405-701-8233 or go online to thefallsatbrookhaven.com for a free tour and see what living in luxury is like.
Oh, I'm glad we keep record of these types of things. Every so often I forget, but then I remember I have potentially a free meal coming my way. Not for another 9-10 months or so, but the Waffler and I did make a bet a couple months back. He bet me a pizza that Andrell Anthony outproduces Nick Anderson in 2025. And so whenever I make a bet with a listener, I always just tack it into their contact on the text line. So whenever the Waffler texts, it just displays as the Waffler, and then in parentheses, bet Parker a pizza that Andrell Anthony outproduces Nick Anderson in 2025. Feel pretty good about my odds on that one, Waffler.
I mean, you can, but if you're going by pure stats, keep this in mind. Nick Anderson's in a loaded wide receiver room at LSU because he wasn't the only big-time transfer that they got. They got the kid from Kentucky, too. So, whereas Anthony, I haven't looked at Duke's, what their wide receiver room looks like post-transfer portal. He might be the number one guy.
He might be. Still like my chances, though.
Just a thought.
I think Nick Anderson's going to have a banner year down in Baton Rouge. But anyway, the Waffler's text was, are we really keeping Joe John Finley? Look, Waffler, yes, it would appear so. He's out there on the road recruiting. He's running meetings with the tight ends, doing all of the essential functions of the tight ends coach's job at the University of Oklahoma. So, is OU really keeping him? Yes, it would appear that is the case going into 2025. I know I and many others kind of expected that this was going to be his last year at Oklahoma and that he wanted to be a coordinator, that he'd have opportunities to be a coordinator, and that was going to prompt him to seek employment elsewhere for the 2025 season. But here he still is, and I respect it. An alumnus, someone that wore the uniform, someone that has spent the majority of their football life in Norman. It's not somebody that I'm going to run off the ranch before their time has come. He's been the subject of some understandable, deserved criticism for how his unit has performed the last couple of years. I understand that. He'll have the chance to right the ship this fall. And ultimately, Grayson, I think what's going to dictate the outcome of Joe John Finley's career at Oklahoma and dictate how he's remembered, what his legacy is as a position coach, it's going to be Devon Mitchell. If Devon Mitchell booms, maybe that redeems Joe John Finley in the eyes of this fan base. If Devon Mitchell doesn't do much of anything, then okay, what's on the resume at that point for Finley? A nice year from Braden Willis, and that's pretty much it?
Yeah, pretty much. Does the nice year from Braden Willis cover up for the debacle of this year? In the eyes of many of the fan base, no.
Ryan in Jacksonville asks, is Joe John getting a pay cut since he's no longer the co-OC? That's a good question. I'll have to look into contract details. I wouldn't assume he's getting a pay cut. He may not get a raise, I guess. Spence in Tulsa on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line asked, is Peyton Houston coming in if you have Bo Bentley and Jaden O'Neal in the 2026 class? For my money, yes, Spence in Tulsa, because I think Peyton Houston's better than Bo Bentley and Jaden O'Neal both already, right now. It's not to shortchange what Bo Bentley is or what Jaden O'Neal is as football players, but Peyton Houston has the potential to be a transcendent type of talent. Like, if you made me put money on one of those three winning a Heisman Trophy at the college level, I would put all of the money on Peyton Houston. So, I think that's the type of dude that wherever he shows up, he's starting by year 2, regardless of who else is in the room, because he's just going to be better than whoever he's up against. Let's see what the YouTube chat is saying as far as the poll question that we put out. 67% of you that are tuned in via YouTube say that Oklahoma needs to recruit the linebacker position best in the 2026 cycle.
Ooh.
Linebacker, 67% of the vote. D-line has 20% of the vote. Wide receiver has 7% of the vote. That's about what I expected, Grayson.
I think so.
And we've discussed this. You have 2 light classes in a row at linebacker where it's just one take a piece. You're going to have to reload, and you're going to have to reload with talents. And, well, you got the whole posse to recruit linebackers at this point, don't you? You got Nate Dreiling, you got Wes Goodwin, you got James Skalski, and, of course, your head coach is probably the best linebackers coach in the college game in Brent Venables. So, the excuses no longer exist. You'd better be recruiting linebackers at a high level in 2026.
Oh, yeah, especially with the rate of departure at linebacker that you've had. Kip gone, or not, I'm sorry, not Kip, Lewis Carter, pardon me. Lewis Carter gone, Danny Stutzman, obviously. Jaron Canick's no longer playing linebacker, and he's probably gone after this year. You need to retool at that position. Plus, you also, Deshaun McCullough also gone as well. Plus, you also need to brace for what could be somebody leaving via the transfer portal. So like that's always a possibility in today's day and age. So we talked about this. I think this shows our influence, Parker, on the people. We did a whole segment about this, about how important it's going to be to recruit linebacker in 2026. So that's where I stay. I mean, that's where I land. I think linebacker is the most important position. The polls agree with me. I do find this interesting, though, on the text line. Chris from Knoxville, after watching the Eagles on Sunday night, load up on the defensive line.
Can never have too many monsters up front in the defensive trenches.
They're pretty loaded there right now, aren't they?
They are. It's a bunch of guys that are freaks, but also a bunch of guys that haven't proven a ton.
Right.
So there's a lot of potential there for Oklahoma to have a really disruptive front four in 2025. It's just contingent upon some guys doing some things that we haven't seen them do just yet. By the way, it's always crazy. We have the NFL Network airing on the studio TV in here, and so I'm watching the expert mock drafts scroll across the ticker on the bottom of the screen, and like every single expert has Armand Membo in their top 10 or top 15. Absolutely wild to me, because Armand Membo, for those that aren't familiar, former starting right tackle at the University of Missouri. But the reason why that's so significant to me is because I watched and covered Armand Membo in high school because he was a high school teammate of Caden Green's at Lee Summit North. And he looked like he was the absolute nerdiest looking kid. Like he for one thing, the fact that he plays tackle as well as he does is crazy because he's only 6'3", which is diminutive by tackle standards.
Yes.
But he's got really long arms and just freakish athleticism. But, I mean, if this kid walked up to you as a junior or senior in high school and you saw him then, you would not have figured, yeah, this dude's going to be a top 10 NFL draft pick in a few years. Because, like, he would show up to workouts wearing, like, actual glasses. We're not talking rec specs. He'd show up wearing a pair of glasses.
Really?
Yes. And he would work out with these glasses on. And, you know, he's like a good-looking specimen, but next to Caden Green, who just dwarfs him, you're thinking, okay,
well,
you got
Caden Green dwarfs a lot of people.
Yes, you're thinking, okay, you got Enforcer here, and then you got Batman and Robin type of vibe.
There's a tackle in the NFL, and it's slipping my mind right now. Somebody in the text line maybe help me out here. Who his profile image is him with these like big ass glasses. Like, I think they're rec specs, I believe. I can't think of who it is. It's a black dude, to narrow it down, but I can't think of who it is. And it's bothering the hell out of me right now.
Interesting. We got two texts virtually simultaneously about Jaron Kanek, of all people. Tyler from Kellyville says, sorry, I live under a rock. What position change did Kanek make? And then the Waffler said, man, I've been out of the loop for over a week with work. Is Jaron really moving to, I think he meant H-back, but he wrote HVAC. I can hear the jokes right now. I wish Jaron Kanek could move to HVAC. He ain't doing anybody no good on the football field. He ought to just get into the workforce.
You and Steely's redneck voices are amazing.
Mine didn't start out that way. It was cultivated due to Steely's influence in large part. But yes, Jaron Kanek not only is moving to H-back / tight end, but he also changed his number. He's going to be wearing number 12 moving forward. So get ready to see a different version of Jaron Kanek. There's going to be somebody. There's going to be somebody on the text line the Monday after the spring game going, I tell you, that number 12 kid, he look all right. Where'd he come from? That's Jaron Kanek.
That's how you know they haven't been listening to us on the ref.
Mm-hmm. Also, Mike from Ardmore said, Brandon Sharp isn't coming back, is he? Well, Mike, I believe you're referring to Bauer Sharp. And he will be coming back. He will be coming back to Norman, Oklahoma this fall in the purple and gold for the LSU Tigers. That'd be interesting.
What if Bauer Sharp has 48 catches for 700 yards and 5 tuds this year?
Like, what would you – if you're an OU fan, what would you rather have? When LSU comes to town, would you rather lose because Nick Anderson went off or lose because Bauer Sharp went off?
I feel like the majority contingent would be Nick Anderson.
Probably so. It'd be tough to swallow either way.
It really would.
But if you got cooked by Bauer Sharp, oh man.
Oh, I'll pour salt in that wound too. What if he throws a touchdown pass? Well, forget throwing a touchdown. What if he completes a pass?
We know how good he is at throwing the football to LSU Tigers.
Valid point.
He done that a time or two.
What? Wait, hold on. What?
Frisco Sooner says Joe John Finley has to have picks on Joe C. and or President Harris. It's the only thing that makes sense. I don't think it runs quite that deep, but okay.
Blackmail. Gunny of Stutzman's Army. Parker, how can Kanik run so fast without does he not have toes?
No, it's a joke.
I haven't been here long enough.
No, he posted a photo on Twitter earlier today.
Oh, really?
Where it was a photo of his foot. A photo of his foot next to his cleat, and the caption was "fits like a glove" or something like that. But over his foot, he had photoshopped a single toe, so that it looked like his entire foot was just a toe.
I'm looking this up.
He's an interesting dude when it comes to social media activity.
Clearly.
So that was the joke that Gunny was making.
Fair enough.
He really asked, does he not have toes?
Oh my God. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Brad said, would rather win versus LSU and Sharp scores 3 touchdowns. Can't imagine it would be that easy to swallow, even if you did win the football game, if Bauer Sharp scored 3 touchdowns. Then everybody on the text line would be pissed. Well, where was that last year?
I guarantee you the calls for Joe John Finley's head would be insane.
And, unpopular opinion here. I think Bauer Sharp will probably actually have a pretty decent season at LSU.
I think he will, too.
Because he's going to be asked to do things that tight ends are generally asked to do, i.e., not jet sweeps and reverse passes.
And blocking defensive ends.
Yeah. I think it was a lot more about Bauer Sharp's usage than Bauer Sharp's actual ability.
Think about what LSU did with Mason Taylor these last couple of seasons. They turned him into a pretty good player.
Yeah, he'll be a second round, if not a first round NFL draft pick in a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're due for another break, folks. When we come back, we'll continue talking OU football and Crootin and fielding your texts on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line at 405-651-3439. Keep it right here on the Ref, the home of Sooner fans. We'll be back.
Hey, Sooner fans. This is Jalen Moore. You're listening to The Ref, the home of the Sooner fans.
Ever wonder why someone would go to the ends of the earth and leap into the unknown? Maybe a better question is, what are you waiting for? Pacifico is brewed for those who follow their own path. That's living life anchors up.
Hey, Sooner fans, we've got you covered. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
No, we don't get a break.
This is the home of Sooner fans.
The Ref Sports Radio Network.
I'm Gina Mitchell of Mitchell's Jewelry. Valentine's Day is all about love, and we have gifts worthy of the day. Modern heart pendants and fabulous gold necklaces are sure to make her heart skip a beat. She might even have a wish list waiting for you. If you're looking to outdo Cupid, our Antwerp Diamond Supplier has brought in the best Antwerp has to offer. The selection and the prices are oh so sweet. Mitchell's Jewelry in the heart of Norman at 2201 West Main Street.
The all-new Eskridge Honda is here, right in time for the new year. Our new building is awesome, just like these deals. Right now, get new 2024 Honda Ridgelines, just $349 per month. Come in today to get the best deals all month long. Now conveniently located off I-35 and 89. Just look for the blue tents on the roof. Online at eskridgehonda.com.
2024 Honda Ridgeline, $349 per month, 3-year, 10,000-mile lease, $49.99 plus TTNL. First month's payment due at signing, ends 2/28/25.
Do you like to stand out in a crowd while wearing the best in OU apparel? The Jimmy Austin Pro Shop carries the best brands you can wear to work or even dress up events. Lines such as Lululemon, Travis Mathew, FootJoy, Greg Norman, Grayson, or Turtleson with the OU and Jimmy Austin logo are sure to catch everyone's eye. You don't have to be a golfer to shop at Jimmy Austin. They also do corporate special orders for you and your company. Call them today, 405-325-6716, or visit theougolfclub.com for more information.
Many of our U.S. veterans and service members face challenges, mental health struggles, housing obstacles, food insecurity, and social isolation, to name just a few. I'm Bob Woodruff. My family and I started the Bob Woodruff Foundation in 2006 after I sustained a life-threatening injury while reporting from Iraq. Our service members had my back that day, and we need to have theirs now more than ever. At our foundation, we invest in solutions, so learn more about our work at bobwoodrufffoundation.org/success.
Children are the greatest joy and our best hope for a better future. Friends, they are the future. But did you know that millions of kids are facing hunger every day? Food is not just food. It's energy, health, confidence, hope, and even love. Yes, love.
Thank you!
Learn more about how No Kid Hungry is helping end child hunger in America at helpnokidhungry.org.
Call the 12th Avenue Chick-fil-A in Norman at 405-310-3189. Let them prepare your party. You'll be the favorite guest when you bring a Chick-fil-A nugget tray, sandwiches, or a mac and cheese tray. It'll be their pleasure to serve you, whether dining in, carrying out, catering, or delivering delightfulness to your front door. Box meals to nugget trays to gallons of lemonade and tea. They have plenty to offer for your next class party, team celebration, or family gathering. You'll be the big-time guest when you bring Chick-fil-A. Call 405-310-3189. And remember, eat more chicken.
Here at The Ref, we know football, and we talk football every single day. But it wouldn't be possible without the great people at Wade Electric. Because while we know football, we trust Wade Electric for all of our electrical needs. Anytime we need electrical work done at our station, we call Wade Electric. They've been out to install new exterior lighting, convert interior lighting to LED, update devices, and install new power where needed. Call them today at 405-329-1940. Wade Electric, the electrical experts.
Locked In is brought to you today and every day by the folks at Dorsey Jones Buick GMC out in El Reno. Fantastic staff, fantastic service and sales prices. And, of course, half-price oil changes on Saturdays. All of that and much more out in El Reno at Dorsey Jones Buick GMC. On the YouTube chat, Gunny said, hearing Parker call someone a nerd is hilarious. I'm not a nerd, Gunny. Please. You know who is a low-key nerd?
Who?
The man that just walked in the office, Teddy Lehman.
So Teddy walked... Go ahead.
No. If you have a story, let's hear it.
I do have a story. So I was producing The Rush yesterday, and they brought me in to talk about the halftime show from the Super Bowl. And so Teddy walked...
They brought you in?
Yeah. They brought me on air to talk about the halftime show from the Super Bowl.
As, like, a hip-hop expert?
Yeah. As the office's diversity that would probably fit into the demographic that knows the story behind the halftime show.
That could be... That could be spun in a very unflattering way.
Oh no, you go. I'll make the joke.
Oh yeah, no. Listen, Ted's area of expertise is like because the music he likes is like metal or prog rock. It's like the harder stuff. So I don't even know what type of music Tyler listens to. So Ted has actually asked me to give him music recommendations. Oh yeah, he asks everybody.
And I got him started listening to Lil Baby.
Okay.
Anyway, back to this story. So I hopped in with The Rush, and I was like, hey, here's, like, the story with the halftime show and, like, the symbolism and whatnot. Didn't go deep into that. But anyway, so he comes in here during the break, and he's like, yeah, so I read up on this Drake and Kendrick beef, which sent me right there. And then the one thing he said is like, isn't it a little bit weird that Kendrick has this big moment and he plays a song dissing another man? I'm like, this is valid. That is a valid question. The problem is he had to play that song because without that song, he wouldn't have even been there.
That's pretty true.
And would not have won 5 Grammys.
It's pretty true.
So, yeah, like a minute before we came on air, Ted came in here and was talking to me about that.
That's hilarious that Teddy and Tyler were like, who can we bring in for Kendrick Lamar analysis?
No, it just happened to be perfect that I was the one producing the show. Because okay, let's keep it a buck here, Parker Thune.
Let's do it.
Nobody else in this station would have any clue about anything that happened that had to do with that show.
That's pretty true.
I guess Blake does listen to Kendrick a little bit. Blake, who's running our YouTube.
I'm trying to think who like. There's always one person. I've learned this over the years. There's always one person that's like a big-time hip-hop rap fan that you would never expect. Maybe it's Perry. Maybe Perry's the guy that you would never expect to be big into rap, but he secretly is.
If I got in the car with Perry and he turned on some some Kendrick or something, I would be floored.
Oh, Puerto Rican Sooner said, yeah, Teddy said he's going to open a can on Poke Willie. Yeah, probably not. But the reason why I brought up Ted is because Ted is actually highly intelligent.
Yes,
he does a very good job of acting like he's not. He does a very good job of leaning into the dumb jock persona.
Which, by the way, those are the best people to hang out with, too.
Oh, man. You ever get to talking to Ted off the air? He's a different Ted than he is on the air. Maybe it's Plank. Slim Brady brought up Plank. Maybe Plank is the secret rap guy in the office.
Feel like Plank was so Slim Brady feel like Plank would listen to some Mexican OT. Now Mexican OT is some rap that I don't even listen to. I know who that is. He's come up on some of my workout playlists. I don't like him. I group him in there with Central C as well. I know you have no idea who
I
that
have
is.
never heard of Central C. No.
Yeah, I know you would know who that is. One Star J in Tulsa, Teddy profiling Grayson. Hilarious. No, it's because I know people are going to be like, oh, Grayson's a sellout laughing at being profiled. No, me and Teddy have had conversations about rap music before.
We all have a sense of humor here, folks.
There's a reason for this.
Boomer Jim from Wisconsin says, I thought the Fox coverage, the all New Orleans culture stuff, national anthem, halftime commercials, I personally thought it was the worst of all time. Please, no more Super Bowls in New Orleans.
But doesn't that make the stuff special when you lean into the culture of the city that's there? We do this every 4 years for the Olympics.
It's exactly what you should do. You're having a major event in a city that doesn't typically no city typically hosts the Super Bowl, right? It's a revolving door every year.
Right.
Absolutely. You should lean into the culture of the city.
When they had the Super Bowl in L.A. a couple of years ago, who did they bring out? L.A.-based rappers.
And that was awesome, by the way. That halftime show was awesome.
I am so glad you loved it, because I did too.
Yeah. I really just love anything Snoop Dogg is involved with. Because Snoop is a legend.
Okay, can we talk about Snoop Dogg for 30 seconds?
Sure, let's do
How did Snoop Dogg become America's mascot?
Because he's just freaking hilarious. He doesn't even have to try.
But never in your wildest dreams would you have thought that America's mascot in the year 2025 was Snoop freaking Dogg.
The social media era was perfect for Snoop Dogg. Because Snoop Dogg is the perfect guy to just own the social media landscape. Because his entire life consists, if you walked around for a day with Snoop Dogg, if you walked around filming everything he did, how many 15-second viral videos do you think you could create?
Probably 10 million. There you go.
How much time is in a day?
Drew from Flower Mound. We need Gunna at the next Super Bowl in Atlanta. Do you know who Gunna is, Parker?
I do know who Gunna is. Yep.
He's pretty good. I like Gunna.
Adam from ATX says, you mean Teddy and Gabe didn't drive around slamming Slim Thug and Paul Wall?
Gunna will not be at the. I would like Gunna in the Super Bowl, but he would not be in the Super Bowl.
Okay, let's circle back to recruiting here. Now that we've taken that brief detour.
Yes.
It appears we have an overwhelming lead in the YouTube poll. People want to see Oklahoma recruit the linebacker position. Most specifically, or recruit it well in the 2026 class. They want to see a banger of a class at linebacker. In 2025, Oklahoma had that type of class on the offensive line. 2024, they had that type of class in the secondary. You go back to 2023. What would the strength of that 2023 class have been? That class was pretty balanced. It was a really balanced class, actually. I don't know if there was one position group that stood out. But anyway, there seems to be, pretty regularly, virtually every single year, you get that one group that everybody looks at as kind of the crown jewel of the class. And naturally, folks want that to be linebacker. What's interesting to me, Grayson, and this is a theme I've noticed so far, is that I don't think, and anybody on the text line that has information to the contrary is welcome to correct me, I have not seen Nate Dreiling make an offer yet on behalf of Oklahoma. And he's been on the job for a week and a half. All of the recent linebacker offers, i.e. linebacker offers since the departure of Zach Alley, have been made through James Skalski. Not by James Skalski, but through James Skalski. By Brent Venables, through Skalski. I wonder, when does Dreiling get the green light to just go ahead and start building out his own board?
Which begs this question that I don't think we threw out enough when we were going through this whole saga leading up to where we are now. Who's doing what? Because there's too many people. I mean, okay, I don't want to say too many, but there are 4. There's a lot of people who have linebacker expertise running this defense. And a lot of times you'll get a variety here, but you've got a grad assistant, you've got a DC, you've got the head coach, and I'm pretty sure there's one more that I'm missing out here. Or is it just them 3? Skalski, Dreiling, Venables.
Goodwin, Wes
Goodwin, thank you. That's the one I left out. So there's 4 dudes here with linebacker expertise. One's not giving out offers, but the guy below him is mediating the communication between recruit and ultimately the head coach who's giving the offers. It's almost like they're jumping somebody here, and then whatever Wes Goodwin is going to end up doing. My point is, I know we throw out egos getting involved, and I know sometimes being able to decipher roles is a big thing among players. I think it's a big thing among coaches too. And if there's a coach that's feeling like he's just being jumped in the chain of command, that could lead to something interesting.
Yeah, it's significant to me. And maybe it shouldn't be, but I just find it interesting because generally a new coach gets to town, gets on staff, he's recruiting pretty immediately, right? And I know Nate Dreiling has been having conversations with recruits. I know he's been recruiting, but I don't believe we have seen him make an offer yet for Oklahoma. I'm just wondering when that time comes. Spartan Sooner on the text line asks, not sure if it had been brought up already, any chance with Xavier Tiller? Xavier Tiller is a 3-star tight end from the state of Georgia that just decommitted today from Texas A&M. So he's back on the open market. I mean, look, he's a very, very coveted player, had north of 30 offers already when he committed to the Aggies. Odds are Oklahoma's not pulling a tight end out of the state of Georgia. So let's keep expectations realistic. I mean, he's got an Alabama offer. He's got an Auburn offer. He's got all the SEC powerhouse offers from the region. And Oklahoma hasn't recruited the tight end exceptionally well the last few years. I mean, we can all call a spade in that regard. Are they all of a sudden going to go down to Georgia and beat out all of the top-tier SEC foes for a guy that has every offer you can ask for down in that region? My answer is probably not.
I mean, let's be real. I mean, everybody else there is going to throw the bag at him, and it seems like the prevailing feeling around Norman America is that Oklahoma has anything but the bag.
Well, and especially for tight ends, too. Like, is Oklahoma going to pay up for a tight end? Because if they were going to pay up for a tight end, they would have started last cycle with Nate Roberts.
Yes.
They would have paid up for Nate Roberts.
Instead of letting him get to Ohio State.
And they chose not to. A 918 listener said, there was a Dreiling offer on X. Link me to it, please. I must have missed that. Please link me to it if you can find it. But one guy I'll be watching, Grayson, and this is the time of year where, you think you have a pretty solid impression of the board, and in many cases you do, but you always got to be watching out for guys, especially across the region, that are OU good on tape and don't yet have the offer. Because if at any point OU decides to expand the board at any particular position, and linebacker is a position right now where I think they need to expand the board, there's a guy not too far up the road. He's out of state, not very far out of state, that I think fits the bill for OU and is somebody that they should pursue and, to my understanding, would have a very, very good chance to land, and that is Braxton Lindsey out of Rogers, Arkansas. He's already got north of 20 offers. Several of them are P4 offers. Really, really good two-way player on tape. Excels at tight end. Excels at linebacker. He's got offers as an athlete, as an off-ball linebacker, as an edge. Really versatile player, and I think could be a valuable piece in OU's defense. Just an excellent specimen. Somebody that, he's not necessarily like a Jaron Kanik where you got to kind of convert him into a defensive player because he was more of an offensive guy than a defensive guy in high school. No, he's got a lot of really good instinct and a good degree of polish on the defensive side of the ball. So that's a guy I can see Oklahoma making a run at. And I talked to you about this guy before we jumped on air today, but I'm really, really intrigued by the kid out of Rejoice Christian School up in Owasso, plays wide receiver. The name is Xavier Okwufulueze. Yes, it's a mouthful, folks. I think you're going to want to learn that name because I get the sense he's going to become a very popular guy in the OK Preps ranks at a certain point. Love his game.
So we're throwing another wide receiver into the 2026 frame.
Well, see, and that's my big that's the holdup for me is I'm like, okay, does Emmett Jones ever have need to offer another wide receiver beyond the guys he's currently pursuing? Maybe not.
If he does, something has gone horribly wrong.
Yeah, there's a degree of truth to that. So I think he'll end up at the P4 level, the higher end of the P4 level somewhere. He's got a Utah offer. He's got a Kansas State offer. He's got Oklahoma State and BC. It might not be OU, but I think that kid's going to be very highly regarded. Okay, folks, that's it for Locked In. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow. Tyler and Ted open things up on the rush. Coming up on the other side. For Grayson Singleton, I am Parker Thune. Y'all take it easy. We'll catch you tomorrow.